Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Yang berhormat Dato Seri Setia Haji Abdul Mukti bin Haji Muhammad Daud, Minister in the Prime Minister's Office, and distinguished members of the Authority Monetary Brunei Darussalam Board of Directors, Yang Mulia Dayang Haja Rukiah Haji Badar, Managing Director of the Authority Monetary Brunei Darussalam, Mr. Raymond Chow, Charge d'Affaires, Singapore High Commission and Brunei Darussalam, invited speakers, panelists, visionaries of Fintech, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to be at this year's World Fintech Festival, jointly organized by Monetary Authority Singapore and SingX with Brunei Darussalam as a partner city via Authority Monetary Brunei Darussalam or MBD and the Center for Islamic Banking, Finance and Management or CIBFM as the event organizer. Given the current circumstances, we are unable to convene the way we used to in previous years. Nonetheless, the pandemic shall not be a hindrance to our exchange of ideas and information. I'm delighted to note that thousands from all over the world are still able to join us virtually in this hybrid physical digital format. We managed to remain connected through the power of technology, and the attendance for the event has in fact exceeded the constraints of physical presence. Though it may be overused, I find that few words can better describe the turbulent year we are in now, other than unprecedented. 2020 will be remembered for the pandemic that has changed many lives and livelihoods, the constraints on people's daily lives around the globe, and the new normal we are now adjusting. However, we do have the opportunity to make sure 2020 will also be remembered as the year in which we will push towards more digital adoption in the fight for greater inclusivity as well as sustainability, both of which have gained a new inspired push. The pandemic has, in fact, led to a greater awareness of sustainable issues, such as developing ways to contribute towards a more sustainable and greener world and investment in socially and environmentally conscious companies. This unusual time has given us the opportunity to reflect on our actions amidst lockdowns in many places, and has truly reinforced the notion that the action we take today will impact the future and consequences borne by generation to come. A key driver in this endeavor is the adoption of new technology, which has been at the center of today's economic development debate due to its more extensive applications during the COVID-19 outbreak. With social distancing requirements put in place, friendship and relationship, as well as business and work meetings, transported to live chats and video calls. Schools closed and lessons were held remotely. Brick and mortar businesses have to leverage on online market platform and digital Know Your Customer KYC for certain service providers in order to connect with customers and conduct business transactions to keep themselves afloat. For public health, the governments also make use of contact tracing and surveillance technologies to curb the spread of the virus within communities, and much more. For Brunei Darussalam, the outbreak somewhat presented a silver lining. Disruptive it was, it escapulated many actions ahead of schedule and gave rise to greater creativity and innovation amongst public and private entities, ensuring they are able to continue to deliver services while adhering to public health measures. This is in line with and has intensified the country's pursuit of becoming a smart nation driven by digital government, digital society, and digital economy, is outlined in the Digital Economy Master Plan 2025, rolled out in June 2020. Before the escalation of COVID-19 measures, small local businesses face resources constraints to adapt to the sudden changes given the imposed restriction. At the same time, we also saw some of them take on the challenge of innovating and shifting their business models in efforts to remain resilient in the face of the crisis. On the supply side, solution providers work hard to come up with online marketplaces and digital payment tools to facilitate the continued operability of these businesses. This is helped to ensure that, for instance, farm produce are not laid to waste, and food and beverages produced by hawkers and other micro-retailers can still be enjoyed by households. We also saw many government agencies, non-profit making organizations, and community at large work together to lend support to affected families and vulnerable groups in various ways during the outbreak. This is a testament to the resilience of the Bruneian community. In times of difficulty, we've managed to uphold the spirit of togetherness and come together to reach out and uplift the life of others. Ladies and gentlemen, today we bear witness to the much faster pace at which digital technologies are being harnessed, not just here in Brunei Darussalam, but globally. Technological advancement have changed the world over the past 2 decades and permeated our lives in many ways, from how we live, communicate, to the very nature of our work. We will continue to face significant changes in the future, driven by an ever-changing technological environment, particularly with the rise of tech giants and new market players and solutions. The emergence of Fintech is a prime example of how markets have evolved and responded to changing consumers' needs, specifically in terms of provision of financial services through the adoption of cutting-edge technology to deliver greater operational efficiency and improve customer experience while lowering costs. This feeds into our increasing reliance on electronic devices and the Internet, giving us the ability to carry out transactions at our fingertips. Fintech also plays another important role in overcoming barriers to financial inclusion by bringing financial services to the underserved community. Through salient features, including mobile money and e-wallets, as well as crowdfunding. Globally, there are over 1.6 billion unbanked adults who could benefit. Of course, connecting Fintech players with hard-to-reach consumers is no easy feat in areas with large digital divide. This would require accessible and interoperable forms of digital infrastructure and identification. Nonetheless, I believe harnessing this ability will greatly benefit societies in the long run. For the last decade or so, Fintech has grown exponentially and caused disruption, not just in the financial sector itself, but also induced changes within and amongst businesses and organizations at large. This growth has been led by market forces with considerable efforts and collaboration among financial institutions, startups, government, investors, and regulators. Fintech is now one of the fastest growing sectors of the modern economy, driven by large investment in technology-based solutions. According to the Fintech Industry Report 2020, the global Fintech market size is expected to grow by 23.8% to $124.3 billion by the end of 2025. AMBD has always been a proponent for Fintech development in Brunei Darussalam and has embarked on a number of initiatives to nurture growth in this field, one of which is the introduction of Fintech regulatory sandbox, which provide participants, especially startups, a safe and secure environment to test and experiment with their Fintech solutions. Though small, the local Fintech market has been steadfastly responding to new customer demands and expectations. Consumers are also getting more comfortable dealing with online financial transactions. I'm happy to share that today, MBD has upgraded the current Fintech regulatory sandbox to the Fintech Regulatory Sandbox 2.0, where the application process has been streamlined to reduce the application assessment time. During the pandemic this year, together with the banking industry, we waived online local interbank fees and charges. This has led to a phenomenal increase in payments by consumers to the real-time gross settlement RTGS system. This has risen 116% between March and October 2020 compared to the same period a year ago. Though driven primarily by the pandemic, we foresee this trend to spur a shift in consumers' behavior and preference, which may outlast the pandemic. This trend presents a window of opportunity for the local Fintech ecosystem. Let us ride on this momentum and mobilize our resources to advance this agenda, which will ultimately contribute to the country's pursuit of becoming a smart nation, as outlined in the Digital Economy Master Plan, which I've touched upon earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, looking ahead, Brunei Darussalam will continue to embrace Fintech, and to do so, we need to foster an inclusive and attractive Fintech ecosystem. The road ahead will be paved with a variety of initiatives enabled through collaborative efforts between AMBD and key stakeholders. I'm happy to announce that AMBD will be releasing a white paper on the state of Fintech in Brunei Darussalam, which will include the recommendation to pursue the development of the Fintech ecosystem in the country. Some of the recommendations are: first, to provide an attractive and favorable regulatory environment for Fintech. MBD will work on providing certainty around key Fintech areas such as eKYC and digital banking. Recognizing that no regulatory framework should be static, MBD will keep an open mind in the development of future-proof regulatory framework to ensure it encourages the adoption of new technologies while taking into account emerging trends. Second, to ensure our payment and digital infrastructure are future-ready. MBD is working with the industry to develop a shared digital payment hub that will centralize digital transaction and facilitate instant payments. All payment service providers, PSPS, can expect to be connected in real time to support an open, competitive market. The hub will allow digital payment to be made through various use cases such as at physical point sale and e-commerce application. Third is the establishment of Brunei Darussalam Fintech Association. It's seen in most countries in the region, local industry players are highly encouraged to establish a Fintech association in Brunei Darussalam. The association can act as a networking platform to centralize all Fintech-related activities within the country and to forge memorandum of understanding with other Fintech hubs. This would also encourage collaboration among stakeholders in developing tailored approaches which are most appropriate in local contexts through experimentation and adaptation of frameworks and best practices. Ladies and gentlemen, as we transition towards a more digitally driven economy, we must be mindful to not leave anyone behind. We need to bolster our effort to ensure everyone is well insulated against technological risks while narrowing the digital divide and improving digital accessibility and literacy through, for instance, reskilling and upskilling the workforce. In fact, 54% of global employees will need to be significantly skilled and upskilled by 2022. When we get past this crisis, we'll face a choice. Technology will remain a core driver of change in all aspects of our lives in the future. The question is, how will we shape an economy that is fit for the world tomorrow? Indeed, lesson can be drawn from this crisis. It has shown us that Fintech is not just about technology. It solves real problems, from increasing access to finance and empowering consumers and small and micro businesses by introducing alternative sources of financing and payment methods, to being a solution in our fight against greater adversities such as climate change. Truly, there are enormous benefits to reap from Fintech. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past few months, it's been heartening to see both the public and private sectors come together in containing the pandemic. This has not stopped our collaboration there. Rather, let it be an impetus for us to continue to work together to enhance our economy for the better. I hope what you can take from my remarks today is that collaborative effort is key in realizing the vision of inclusive and sustainable economic growth. We'll move past this uncertain period into a more resilient world, one in which technology will be central in overcoming challenges and improve livelihoods, inshallah. This festival is part of this effort, a platform for all sides to come together to share valuable insights and help drive the change towards becoming a digital economy. We shall live forward together to make tomorrow better than it is now. With that, I end my remarks by commending the CIBFM for organizing today's festival. I would also like to express my sincerest appreciation to the Monetary Authority Singapore for inviting Brunei Darussalam to be partner city, and look forward to listening to the esteemed lineup of panel speakers today. I wish you all a very productive day and fintech journey ahead. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.